Okay, ladies, here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Magnetize Your Man free training. I am your host, Emerald Sinclair. I'm excited to have you all here. Just a quick note before I even open up the slides, and I'm going to say this again later, but I'm going to say it right now. The internet, because I'm in Costa Rica, if it cuts out, bear with me, stick on the line. That's also part of the reason why I'm sending out a replay, so that if you do miss some things I say at times, you can go back in and watch it. And also, I absolutely recommend that you watch the replay because we always learn things more the second time. So to respect your time and mine, and of course to respect the internet and hope that it stays strong this entire time, I'm going to get started. Just a little Zoom announcement. If you have any questions at any time, you can type them in the Q&A box, which you can find on your phone, or if on your computer, you should be able to find it there as well. So grab pen and paper, get ready for this training, type questions in as you go. A replay will be sent out. I'm sending you all so much love. I'm excited that you're here, for those of you that could make it live, and I'm excited for those of you that are able to catch the replay. So let's get this show on the road. And feel free, for those of you that are here live, just type in where you're joining me from. Like I said, I am here in Costa Rica, beautiful, beautiful Costa Rica. I have the view of the ocean right behind me, which is very, very inspiring. All right, babes, magnetize your dream man. So some of you have been here with me for a while, and those of you that have been here with me, you know what I'm all about. You know that I love to share and teach from the heart. Those of you that are brand new, I will give you a little description of who I am. But to just make sure we are in the right place and I have attracted the right women to me for this webinar, a couple qualifying statements. So you are in the right place for this training if you struggle with self-confidence issues and you're not sure where to meet men. If you're starting to fear that maybe you're setting the bar too high in regards to men, right? Like what you want, and you're like, I don't really know if he exists because the men I'm meeting just are not fulfilling that. You're tired of online dating, but you're not really sure what other options you have. You try not to be clingy, but you still end up coming on too strong and pushing men away. You can't seem to get a guy to commit to you. You're a spiritual woman who cares about personal development and growth, but you can't seem to find a genuine man who knows himself and is strong in who he is and understands the power of intuition and instinct. You're scared you're either too much or not enough for men. You either attract an emotionally unavailable men or men you have no interest in. That was me for the longest time. And you are ready to find your soulmate. So feel free to type into the comment boxes, yeah, that's me, raise your hand. Another thing, so just in case you're here and maybe you shouldn't be, you're not in the right place if you're just looking for dating advice. If you're trying to win your ex back and you want to learn how to do it, if you're looking for tricks to make him want you, if you're not willing to look at yourself and what needs to change within you, you want a quick solution with minimal work or change on your part, or you want someone else to change to make you happy. I don't teach those things. So if that's what you're looking for, I lovingly send you on your way to be completely honest with you. Okay, so how to get the most out of this training? Do the work. So this is going to be an interactive workshop. I'm going to give you time, so have pen and paper. You're going to do actual exercises. If you're just watching, and if you're just watching the replay and you're just skimming through it and fast forwarding, you don't do the work, you're not really going to get too much benefit from the training. Stick around till the end. I have a special announcement for webinar training only ladies. Turn off all distractions, which means put your phone away. Be sure to ask questions in the Q&A box as they come up for you. I cannot guarantee that I will answer them right away, but I will certainly get to them in the end. And be patient with me and trust in the process. That reminder, I am in Costa Rica. Sometimes the internet's perfect and sometimes it's not. And so that reminder, if we cut out, if you can't hear me or see me, I am recording this. You will get the replay. I have tested it. Luckily, the recording will be perfect, even if the internet is not. So let's have fun. Let's do this. No more things to say about that. It is time to magnetize your man to you. So an official welcome from myself. I'm Emerald Sinclair, and as a manifestation expert, I help single women manifest their soulmates in as little as 8 weeks, but it doesn't stop there. I also help with money, mindset, business strategy, and manifesting the life of your dreams. So we're going to talk about magnetizing your dream man, but know that what I'm teaching you can also be applied to so many areas in your life. So as far as love goes, I didn't have too many great examples of love growing up. Multiple divorces in my family, not very healthy relationships, and it manifested in my 20s. So I knew I wanted love, but I didn't know how to get it. I didn't have any really healthy teaching. I was clingy and needy because I really needed their love and they ran away as a result. Or I tried to act like, no big deal, I don't need you, and then he lost interest in me instead. Or I pretended to be someone else thinking that would help me trick him to stay, right? Like if I pretended to be cooler or smarter or whatever, I just was not really ever authentic with who I am. And if you can resonate with that, feel free to put a me in the comment box, right? Like it's really easy to lose yourself in a relationship, to forget who you are, and then you break up with the guy and your friends are like, where have you been, right? That was also me. I did put that in the bullet notes. Another thing, I didn't have a very good body love. Like I starved my body. I alternated between bulimia and anorexia. I went on multiple diets. I would exercise all the time. Like I wasn't truly honoring me and loving who I was. I also didn't know what I really wanted in a man. I just knew I wanted love. So if someone said, well, what do you want in a relationship? I probably would just, true love. I want the fairy tale. I want a good man. But I didn't actually truly know what that was. Doubts, worries, concerns filled my mind, as I actually didn't really think I could have what I wanted. I didn't really think that person existed. And I wanted a relationship more than I wanted the relationship, which is why I settled. And I'm sure some of these things you can relate with as well. Like you're so desperate for love, you're not willing to be patient to wait for the right match, which gets us into troubles. So if you met me in my 20s, I'm in my 30s now, so mature, you could have judged me and told me why I didn't deserve love. I was not loving myself and honoring my body in any way. I was falling for men who were emotionally unavailable. I wasn't centered or aligned with who I was and what I truly wanted. Like I didn't ask myself, like, what do you really want in a man, and got clarity. I just settled. So I was searching for the love of a lifetime, but settling for love for a night. Okay, actually, I don't know if okay, sorry, I was just double checking the chat. Okay, so where I'm at now, make that a little bit bigger. Some of you have met my partner online, virtually, some of you in person. Really wonderful partnership that I consciously magnetized to me, like with some of the stuff I'm teaching you today in this masterclass. So I've manifested this amazing partnership. I've gotten to the point where there's zero doubts in my mind of personal value and worth. And I've even said this to clients before. I'm like, look, I don't necessarily believe that a soulmate has to even be forever. Like there's no doubt in my mind that if Ron and I got to this point where we consciously uncoupled, there wouldn't be fear. I know that the next expression would be even greater and in even better alignment. And that's not to say that I don't believe in happily ever after and that I don't believe for one man forever, because it could totally be that way. And at the same time, like I don't have any doubts or fears or insecurities or neediness or clinginess about you have to be the one and you have to be the one for the rest of my life. And that helps to make our relationship just more in that flow of what works best for both of us. And I can tell you, I really do love who I am and what I'm doing, the six-figure business and lifestyle I have created. And for the longest time, I didn't love who I was. And that's kind of a little secret as far as love attraction goes. You have to love who you are and honor who you are and be in alignment with who you are before you could ever hope to bring in that spiritual match, that partnership. And so if you don't love you, no one else is going to either. As I said before, I built a successful six-figure online manifestation and love coaching business. The love part of it, because I also do money and business strategy as well, I get over 90% of my one-on-one clients into relationships with their personal Prince Charming while we're working together in that 4-month process. I would say that the percentage is close to 100% when we extrapolate further out. Because for some women, that 4 months is the beginning of their container. And then on average, the women who enroll in my online love attraction course, Attract the One, takes them only 4 weeks to meet a man who fulfills 90% of the Prince Charming list. So just a little bit of inspiration and motivation for you. It's totally possible. This is the stuff I share with my ladies that I'm sharing with you today that can get you in alignment to meet and attract the one. And once again, quick reminder, grab pen and paper. This is a workshop, so I will give you time where you're going to be writing stuff down as we go. If you're watching the recording, the good news is, of course, you can pause it and take as much time as you need. During this live masterclass, my dears, I'm not going to give you enough time to finish each exercise completely, or else we would be here for hours. So you're probably going to have to go back and finish the work. And by the time we're done with the workshop, you'll understand exactly what you want in a partner and how to magnetize him to you, period. You'll also learn the importance of making space for what you want and how to do that, and feel extremely confident in who you are and action steps to take on a daily basis to keep your confidence levels high. So let's get started. Enough the jibber jabber. So what is magnetism, right? We're talking about magnetizing your man. And in order to understand magnetism, you have to understand a little bit of the difference between masculine and feminine energy. Masculine energy, so we have both energies. Masculine energy is the energy of succeeding. It's the energy of doing, of striving, of almost like forcing and efforting, of setting goals, of crushing goals. And in this society, we are very much in our masculine energy often because we have jobs, we take care of kids, we have goals and we're going after them. And this can lead to issues in our relationships with our men. Whereas the feminine energy is much more about going with the flow. It's about being in touch with your body, with your emotions, with your feelings, with what feels good in any given moment of your day. And the feminine energy is very attractive, magnetic, and irresistible to a masculine man. But if you're spending the majority of your day in your masculine energy, you're not going to attract in a masculine man. Instead, you're in that energy of like, I gotta get him. I gotta go on 1,000 dates. I have to swipe right. I have to text him. I have to send the message. Like, what do I do? How do I get him? Where do I find him? That's the masculine energy, but I want to teach you the power of attraction in your feminine energy, which is actually allowing yourself to receive what you're in alignment for. And if you're here today, I would say many of you are just like how I was. I wanted to have my to-do list and check off, like, okay, I did my dating profile. I went on 1,000 dates. Like, I did my affirmations. Like, how can I do instead of be, allow, receive, attract? And that's the energy for you be in, is that feminine energy. This post, actually, I just posted on my Instagram. Let me hide my video for a second. If you don't follow me on Instagram, come follow me on Instagram. Instagram's my new thing lately. I'm at Pure Radiant Self. But I posted this because this really puts into perspective, like, what is that feminine energy? So how do you allow manifestations to occur without getting all stuck in your doing, forcing, striving, working, aka masculine energy? You must remember that force slows down the process. In order for manifestations to occur, you must tap into your divine magnetism, your divine feminine energy. Your feminine energy is the power of creation. It's your consciousness and beingness that allows you to draw to you that which you desire. There's no force. You simply become attractive to that which you desire. Don't strive for it as if you don't have it yet. Grow in your ability step by step to become that which you desire. And one day you will experience it in your life. To cultivate your powers of manifesting with feminine energy, focus on allowing, flowing, and surrendering. Being in your feminine energy is being in balance with your body, its presence, appreciation, joyful stillness, and wonder. It's the realization that you are a spiritual and human magnet. Whatever you wish to attract in, cultivate the qualities within you first, and then the manifestations will eventually appear. Oh, let me go back there. Okay, So this right here, in a nutshell, feminine energy. We're talking about being attractive to your soulmate, magnetizing your man to you instead of being in your masculine energy of going and trying to get him. So I ask you, are you in your feminine energy on a daily basis? How do you connect with your feminine energy? And so being in your feminine energy on a daily basis means connecting in with your body. It means asking yourself what you need in any given moment. It means honoring what you want, what your desires are, right? And so too often we get caught up in what we think we should do, what we think will make us feel better, instead of just connecting in with who you are and what you want and what feels good. And so how do you connect with your feminine energy? There's plenty of ways to do it. But you know, some of the ways I do it is meditation. It's pulling goddess cards. It's saying prayers. It's doing yoga. It's swimming. But it truly comes down to am I allowing life to happen? Am I trying to control everything via force, via effort? Or am I softening into the flow, right? Am I trying to swim upstream or allowing myself to float downstream? And so make note of this, of just, am I connecting in with my feminine energy on a daily basis? Am I allowing myself to connect with my body, with my spirit, to be in flow, to simply be attractive? And maybe you need to even write yourself a note to put on your computer that says, am I in my feminine energy? Am I allowing? Am I receiving? Am I flowing? So there's 3 aspects to the Magnetize Your Man training that I want to share with you that have helped me and hundreds of clients to attract in the love of their lives. So the first part is going to be making space for what you want. And there's 2 aspects of making space. The first one is actual physically making space. So physical decluttering, which means in your area, in your house, in your work environment, are there photos of exes? Do you have sweaters from exes? Do you have journals and presents from exes? Is your house even inviting and available for someone else to be in it? Every single thing in your house holds energy. Everything in the universe is energy. And so down to like the tiniest little pen or a glass of water, like if everything in your house has energy, what in your house is not in alignment? You have books that were given to you, books that remind you of an ex-lover, right? And so to actually take the time and honor the physical decluttering, the making space, like burn some sage, make some physical space in your life for your man. If you are too busy, if you've got roommates, if you don't actually have physical space, you're sending a message to the universe that I'm not available for love. Like I don't even have physical space for this person to enter. And so making time to declutter the house, to physically declutter your space is going to be oh so important. Then, so just write that down, make note, like I have to physically declutter this weekend, make some space for my man. I've even had women like clean out their closets and make space on their shelves, which I think is amazing. Like clean out the bedside table. Don't put your purse on the passenger seat when you get into your car because your man's going to be there, right? Like actually think about what type of energy you're putting out there as far as being available for the one. Now, emotional decluttering, this is something completely different. And so with the physical decluttering, you have to make space in your environment physically for a person to come in. Emotional decluttering is inside. You have to make space emotionally with your feelings, with your emotions, with your stuck energy, with limiting beliefs to allow love in. And so I'm going to come back to the slide actually. So there's certain stories, there's certain belief systems that you probably have, such as there's no good men in my town, it's hard to meet men, online dating is horrible, men only want one thing, all the good ones are taken. You know, when I was dating, I lived in a town that was just filled with Peter Pans. And so the environment all around me was that men aren't available. And then if I thought about my childhood, like my parents got divorced from a young age, and so daddy wasn't there. And then my dad got divorced again later on, and so love doesn't last. Then my mom was in a relationship and remarried, and it wasn't the healthiest, right? And so if I think about all the old stories emotionally, so the emotional clutter within me, there was quite a bit. Like my aunt all my aunts, I swear, like none of them are married, like they've all divorced, like one was a single mom. And so once I started to get really honest with myself with the emotional decluttering, I realized inside of my body, energetically, I didn't have space for love because I was filled with fears and doubts and worries and concerns and stories like what you see here on the screen. And so a process that I had to do multiple times, and this is a process we're going to start today, and you're going to do it multiple times in the future, is this. So I had to forgive the old story. So essentially, I pulled out my journal and I just started writing down like, hey, well, look at this proof. Like my dad's been divorced 3 times and my mom's been divorced and she then dated this guy or married him and he wasn't that great. And look, my aunt's divorced and my other aunt's a single mom. And so I just wrote down all of these old stories that I had about love. You know, true love doesn't last. There's no good men in my town. I ended up cheating on my very first boyfriend when I was 16, the love of my life at the time. I held so much guilt and shame around that. I felt like I was self-sabotaging. I felt like I didn't deserve love because of that. You know, I had to write down all of these stories and forgive them. And I used the Ho'oponopono prayer of, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. Yeah, doesn't matter how you say it, just that you say all four of them. And I had to energetically release, and forgiveness just helps to cleanse the palate. It helps you make space. And so that's why things like affirmations don't necessarily work if you haven't cleaned out the old. It's like trying to put whipped cream on garbage. If the old stories and belief systems and emotions are still there, the affirmations on top really won't do anything. And so you have to dig into all of these old stories and forgive them and then tell a new story. And so how can you see it differently? How can you see how this story actually bettered you? And if it's a story where it's a belief system, like there's no good men in my town, well, you got to flip it and tell a new story. Like, I'm just looking for one. Like my story, in plenty of places I lived where there was no good men in town, they're all Peter Pans. The guy I met, 5 years later, still together, he was from out of town. And so I just didn't allow myself to get sucked into the fact that I wasn't going to meet him because this town was filled with Peter Pans. I actually met a guy that was traveling from out of town. And so there's so many different ways of how things could happen. But if you don't allow yourself to be open to that possibility, if you tell the story of, no, it's not going to happen, then it absolutely won't. And so what we're going to do, so your first action step, we're just going to take about 2 minutes here. So I want you to write down 1 to 3 of your old stories. And it can even be just as simple as a limiting belief, like there's no good men in my town. Or it can be an actual story of like, well, my dad cheated on my mom. And as a result, I have this deep fear that this man that I attracted, I'm going to fall in love with him and he's going to cheat on me and leave me for a younger woman, right? Like that can be a big story. It can just be one limiting belief story. Then what you're going to do is forgive it. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. And then what I usually do is I just say a little prayer and I'm like, help me to see this differently. Help me to see this through the eyes of love. And then for each one, I write down a new story. And so there's no good men in my town can turn into, I'm just looking for one. He could be traveling from out of town. Maybe he hasn't moved here yet. Like, what's the new story? Or when we talk about, in that example, dad cheating on mom, well, maybe the new story is, well, because of that, I learned I learned so much strength from my mom because she had to raise us on her own. And because of that, I had to get a job when I was in high school. And so I became quite a good student and balancing my time. And so you're just trying to see things differently. So I'm going to set the timer now and give you just about 2 minutes. And then I will call you back and you're going to come back to this later. In the meantime, I'm just going to see if we have any questions. By the way, for all my ladies in North America, holy crap, I'm sweating my tail off down here in Costa Rica. And I know you're all having freezing cold winters right now. All right, take about 1 more minute, my dears. And then feel free when you're done, if you want to use the chat box or the Q&A, if you have any questions about this exact process, feel free to type them in. Okay, so you can come back to this later because once again, this entire process, this is how you energetically declutter, because if you truly don't believe that you're worthy of love, you will attract in a great man and self-sabotage. You'll go out on a million dates, but still not be emotionally available or attract in the emotionally available men. And so that's why this part, like the self-help personal growth work, doing the work, is oh so important, because if you don't clear the old, there's absolutely no room for the new. So do this as often as you need for the rest of your life to continue to energetically cleanse and make space. Now, part 2, we're covering 3 parts today, is to get clear in what you want. And like I said, for the longest time, I just wanted a good man that treated me well. I just wanted to be in love. I just wanted that fairy tale romance. But that's not very clear. Many women, most of my clients, don't know what they want. I give them an exercise, which I'm going to give you today, and they really struggle with it in the beginning. And it's usually a couple months later of working together or after going through one of my online programs that then it finally sinks in, and then they actually have really crystal clarity in what they want in a partner, and then that's when he arrives. The universe loves clarity. And so there's an example I'll use of if you went to a restaurant and you just said, hey, I want something delicious. Who knows what you're going to get? And that's what a lot of women do. And I call it sloppy manifesting. They just, I want the fairy tale romance. I want to feel great with my man. Period. Awesome. Well, that could be a filet mignon. That could be a Cobb salad. It could be creme brulee. I don't know. But if you went into a restaurant and you knew exactly what you wanted, and you knew the temperature, and you knew the sauce, and you knew the sides, and you knew the drink, when you know with crystal clarity what you want, you will receive, as long as you also do the other steps I'm outlining, like clearing some of those old stories and making energetic space. And so the more refined and clear you can get in the type of partner that truly, truly, truly would be a good match for you, which means you need to get in alignment with your needs and your desires and your wants and feel okay expressing them and feel okay being the woman that knows what she wants and gets it, then you'll get it. And so the part 2 exercise that we're going to do is the beginning process of you actually being able to get clear on what you want. And for those of you that struggle with it, I want you to know that for some women, it does take them a couple months of, like I said, enrolling in one of my programs or private coaching, because we've been taught for so long that we can't have what we want, or it's greedy, or it's selfish, or you're being needy, or demanding, whatever it is, and that's all BS. Because the woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to ask for it and isn't scared to receive it is the woman that actually gets it. So I have a really awesome example here, Tracy. So Tracy and I worked together privately, but then she also enrolled in one of my programs, and the combination of the two of that together just was phenomenal results for her. So this is quotes, this is one of her emails. She says, hey, I found myself settling for guys that were reasonable and interested in me. I was willing to overlook lots of things that didn't quite feel right. In fact, I was not even noticing these things consciously because I wanted to be in a relationship more than I wanted the right relationship. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that. I'm not even sure I knew what the right relationship would have looked like. Bingo, sloppy manifesting. You might get, it's like throwing wet spaghetti against the wall, right? It might stick, it might not, but it's a crapshoot. So instead, I helped her get clear on the desires of her heart. She was able to filter her matches only to men that seemed to be a great fit based on her Prince Charming list, which we're going to go into. And all of a sudden, these men were really respecting the fact that she knew what she wanted. One man even told her he was so expressed by her confidence. And so truly just Tracy getting clear in what she wanted and actually having the confidence to say this to men, they responded really well. They're like, oh my God, like, I'm so impressed by you. What a confident, self-aware woman. And that's very attractive to men. So the end result, Tracy's dating an amazing man, and she sent me this email a while back as an update. She said, hey, after working with you both in the course and private coaching, I was able to really get in touch with myself and my relationship needs. Once this was clarified, I no longer tolerated the ill-fitting suitors. I was able to pass on them and not waste my time. And this is really important, ladies. Know what you want so you don't waste your time with the ones that don't fit. And she says, working with Emerald in our private one-on-one coaching on top of the group really solidified these concepts and gave me the confidence to demand so much more for myself. And it worked. By the end of the course, I had met a really wonderful man who fit my needs and was equally into me. Thanks, Emerald, for helping me to up my dating game to this level. It has forever changed me. So once again, going from lack of clarity to clarity, and once she got clear within a couple of months, bam, she met the guy that fulfilled everything that she had wanted. So you're going to create your personal Prince Charming list. You're going to start today, but this is something that you'll continue to add to and dream into over time. For you ladies that have been with me before and you've done this before, guess what? Now's your chance to continue to add to it, because as you grow and evolve and develop over time, things will come into your awareness that's important to you. And I've done this list plenty of times and I've always gotten what I've wanted. But to be honest with you, as I continue to grow, my lists have evolved over time. And that's why some of my past partnerships, they stopped at a certain point because we were no longer in alignment with what we desired. And it didn't mean that he was bad or I was bad or the relationship was bad. It just, we reached a certain point where all of a sudden our needs and desires were just completely different. And so now you're going to create your Prince Charming list. I'll do another like 2 to 3 minute little break. So you have your non-negotiables on one side. You have your heart's desire on the other side, or a new sheet of paper, and you have icing on the cake. And so a lot of women go about dating in the wrong way, and they think they just need like a rich, tall, handsome man who treats them well. But the point of this list is to get really clear, like, what are the non-negotiables? Is it a spiritual man that really cares about personal growth? Is it a religious Christian man that's in alignment with your spiritual belief and your faith? Like, is it a man that wants kids? Is it a man that's super health oriented? You know, like, so the non-negotiables are stuff that he wouldn't even make it to a second date. And this list is really important, and it doesn't have to be that long, but truly, like, if you are a traveler at heart, you're probably non-negotiable. You need a man that loves to travel as much as you do, not one that just wants to stay at home and watch TV, right? Or vice versa. If you love watching movies and he likes hiking on the weekends, like, that might not be a good fit. So the non-negotiables are stuff that, don't be ashamed to say, like, this is what I truly want and need in a relationship. The heart's desire list is things you want to share in common. So things you share in common with your friends. And the love of your life should meet, let's say 70, 80% of this list. And the icing on the cake, that's more the superficial. That's the tall, dark, and handsome. That's has $1 million, whereas maybe the non-negotiable is financially responsible. The heart's desire might be money in the 401k, and the icing on the cake is self-made millionaire, right? Like, yeah, it would be great, but do you really need your man to be a self-made millionaire? Probably not, but you probably don't want him to be in massive debt. And so good with money might be a non-negotiable. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to work on this while I go fill up my water. If you have any questions while you're going through this, feel free to type them in the chat box or the Q&A box. Take about one more minute. How long is too long for a non-negotiable list? What's the limit between being reasonable and paranoid? Great question. For everyone, it's different. So here's the thing. I had one client once have like 50 items on her non-negotiable list. I'm like, girl, that actually sounds a little bit unreasonable. Whereas at the same time, I'm working with a woman and she had about 15 things on her list, but it wasn't unreasonable because they were things like, I really feel supported and he wants to converse with me and I just feel safe with him. He's a good listener. We laugh a lot. And so a lot of them were just painting the picture of how she was going to feel when she was with him. And so none of it to me sounded unreasonable. And so there isn't a set limit. I would say in general, usually the non-negotiables and the heart's desire are smaller list, the icing on the cake and the non-negotiables tend to be the smaller lists, whereas the heart's desire is the biggest list. And the reason that they're separate, all three of them, is because you have to sit down and ask yourself, like, what do I truly need to feel fulfilled in this relationship versus, well, what do I want? Like, of course I want him to be a multimillionaire and of course I want all these things, but what is it that down at its core means the most for you? And so there isn't really a set answer for that. I mean, does that answer your question? You're also more than welcome to post it here in the chat box or even post it in the Facebook group if you feel so brave. And I'll give you just my honest feedback of if it feels like you're being just a little bit too demanding. But you also, here's another thing. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will now. With this list, the more you are what you put on these lists, the more you strive to grow to become that woman, the better chance you will have to attract that in. So if you're putting all of these things on a list and then you review it and you're not even half of these things, then that kind of goes against attraction and magnetism and law of attraction. And so important for you to become what you're putting on this list. And so if you want a man that's really good with money, but you're struggling with debt, you need to clean up your energy around money. You need to build a savings. You need to start to save yourself instead of waiting for the elusive Prince Charming to save you. And so, like I said, the next step of this list, which I wasn't even going to talk about today, is you need to become that person. And so if you look at your non-negotiable list and you are 100% honest with yourself, you're like, am I this woman? And you can say yes, then I don't think it's too long at all. But if your non-negotiable list, you're not even that person, then I would say you're being unreasonable. And it's funny, like with my private clients, when their fears come up of like, well, does this man even exist? We read the list back to her and I ask her, like, how many of these things are you? And she ends up being like 80 to 90% of the list. And so it's like, okay, if you're that woman, then why couldn't you attract in a very similar man? And the things that you aren't just give you little indicators and flags into what do I need to work on. And we're going to talk about how to manifest your man. And a big part of that is going to be that you are the energy that you want to attract in. So very good question. All right, let's go back to the next part. Part 3. This is it. This is the last part of the training. What makes you feel confident, right? So a lot of women, and thank you for the ladies that replied to the emails, because a lot of you are struggling with self-confidence. A lot of you are struggling with just feeling like you're good enough to actually attract in that man, feeling like you're worthy. And so to magnetize your man, you also need to feel like a goddess, to feel like a queen, to feel like you're worthy of attention and love and desirable. And so part 3 is what makes you feel confident, truly? When do you feel like the cat's meow? So manifestation is the process of creating in your reality what was once in your mind. Law of attraction states that your dominant feelings will attract to you matching for that. So however you're feeling on a daily basis, you'll continue to attract in more people, places, experiences, and situations that resonate with that feeling. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're going to continuously get more things that come up in your that make you feel overwhelmed and like you don't have enough time. But if you're constantly feeling loved and adored and in a really good spot, more of those things will happen to you. And so the process of manifestation, of taking what's in your mind and manifesting it out into reality, starts with your feelings. Because how you're feeling is going to affect your thoughts. And if you're feeling good and you're feeling like it could happen, you're going to be much more positive and optimistic about it happening. And it's like a catch-22 in a good way. The better you feel, the more life aligns with that. And the more life aligns with that, the better you feel. This is phenomenal. So Mileji, a woman that I worked with before, let me minimize my, there we go. So she's the perfect example of feelings, because she says, I started as a depressed, dumped woman, feeling angry and sad about life, to this grateful, open, loving, and hopeful woman. I remember the day I was at work, very sad, and looked at your program, and my inner voice said, this is what you need. My inner voice was so right. My mantra is, if I'm getting ready to receive him, he's getting ready to receive a woman like me too. Malaysia did my group coaching program. She is now with an amazing man. I don't have her updated testimonial or photo of her and him yet, but that's just a little side note. And so for her, the feeling bit was really the biggest transformation, because she was feeling depressed and dumped and angry and sad about life. And so she was just getting more of those situations that affirmed her feelings. Whereas when she shifted into this just beautiful woman that was loving and open and grateful and hopeful about life, that process, that shift is what attracted to her equivalent reciprocal partner, who is also just really sweet and loving. And oh my God, I wish I had a picture, because they just look so happy and you can see the light in them both. I mean, look at this picture. You can see her light. She's such a beautiful woman. But she wasn't feeling that way, which means life was affirming those feelings to her. And so some questions for you to journal on right now. How do you normally feel each day? If you had your soulmate by your side, how would you feel? What needs to change in your life to feel that way today? And how can you bring those feelings into your life today? So first, you're just going to reflect, like, how am I feeling on a day-to-day basis? Then you're going to imagine, like, if I was with my man, I was with my soulmate, I'm with my partner, how would I be feeling? And write down, what are some of those feelings? Then we're going to utilize law of attraction here. How can you change? What do you need to change in your life so that you can actually start to feel those feelings as if your soulmate were here? And what can you do to bring those feelings into your life today? So take a couple minutes and feel free to type into the chat box if you feel like sharing, like how you would feel with your soulmate, or what needs to change in your life to feel that way. Take about one more minute. Make sure you have all the questions written down, or do a little screenshot. So the most important part of this final action step is truly to put yourself in that state of, how would I feel? Because For those of you that are single, if you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling worried, if you're feeling disappointed, if you're feeling discouraged, you are going to get more of that. Your reality will absolutely reflect that. And while it can be hard to put yourself in a really good positive state when reality isn't reflecting that, that is truly what is the most important thing for you to do, which is to try to get your life, the people, the circumstances to match the feelings that you would have when your soulmate was by your side. And so if I would feel supported and I would feel loved and I would feel cherished, how can you bring those feelings into your life today? How can you take action? What do you need to do for you? Are there people you need to remove from your life? Are there people you need to add in? So instead of getting caught up in the he's not here yet and therefore I feel horrible and unloved, instead, you're going to put yourself into the space of how would I feel if you were here, and what can I do in my life, regardless he's not here yet, what can I do to help me feel that way? So that's going to be your action step to move forward from here. So recap, here's what we covered today. 1, make space. So physically decluttering and energetically decluttering. 2, then once you've made space energetically, you have to get clear on what you want, right? It's like planting seeds. If the ground is already filled with plants, you can't plant new seeds. So we had to make space so that we could get clear on what we want. And it's not enough to just want that fairy tale romance, because there's so many things that are actually very important to you. And as a unique, beautiful snowflake, you can have exactly what you want if you know what you want. But if you just go into the restaurant and say, give me something delicious, who knows what you're going to get? And then step 3, feeling as if you were already here, and then taking and trying to have those feelings as often as you can throughout the day. And so whether that means visualization, whether it means journaling, whether it means just pretending most of the day, or you can actually align your life and events and circumstances to help you feel those core desired feelings. This is the feminine energy. This is the flow. This is the allowing. This is the magnetizing. This is the attracting. This is the receiving. This is this beautiful combination of divine masculine taking action, but mostly divine feminine, allowing yourself to get clear and to receive. So I like to lay it out as law of attraction plus manifestation equals attracting in the one. And everything we're truly talking about here is allowing you to get clear in your head of what you want so that you can manifest it in your reality and use the power of your feelings for law of attraction in order to attract the man to you, in order to magnetize the man to you. No more doing, no more efforting. So if I've answered everything you came here for, I lovingly send you on your way. However, I would assume some of you have some of these types of questions still. How do I build up my self-confidence to actually feel like the woman worthy of her soulmate and not freak out around men? How do I stop worrying about how to find a guy and know without a doubt that he's on his way? So how do you have that confidence and faith and trust? What do I do if I'm having a bad day or week or month or year? Yeah, but where do I find the good available men? What if I live in a small town? Can I still magnetize my man? And how do I use manifestation to attract my match? Like manifestation is this big catch buzzword nowadays, which I'm actually happy it is because it's something we're always doing. We're always manifesting as human beings. Just many of us didn't know it. So if you still have some of these questions, stick around because I want to share with you something that I told you I was going to share with you at the beginning of the training. I just said that. Okay, attract the one. Attract the One is my signature online love attraction course that's going to go deeper into all of those questions you just asked, right? So everything we learned today is really helpful to get you crystal clear on what you want, to make space for what you want, to become an energetic match and vibration for what you want. But what I found, unfortunately, is people fall off the bandwagon. Like they feel all high vibe for a training for a day, but then tomorrow reality sinks in and it's like, wah, wah, wah. So it's exactly why I've created an 8-week course, because if for 8 weeks, for 2 months, you're holding yourself in this vibration of it's happening and you're visualizing and you're journaling and you're in that feeling state and you're just essentially working up that faith and trust muscle, because it is a muscle, just like anything else. It doesn't just shift over time, right? Like going to the gym for 8 weeks is a lot different than just maybe doing a yoga class and watching online just once. So I want to refer to Attract the One as like an 8-week gym for your brain to take everything we learned today and go so much deeper so that you do truly become a magnet for the one you want, so that when doubts and questions and fears come up, they're answered, they're solved, because you'll have access to me in my Facebook group. But not only that, you'll have access to so many online trainings that are meant to whip your mind into shape so that you stop doubting and worrying and fearing if he's out there. And I have a special, special price for you. Okay, so a couple of testimonials of women who's gone through Attract the One. Nicole started embodying the lessons out of the middle of August. A couple months later, she met a beautiful man. We have been inseparable. He's my person. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's no accidents. Zoe, about 4 weeks into the course, she met someone who was 80% of what she wrote down in the manifestation worksheets. By doing the course, I allowed myself to believe in the magic of my abilities to manifest what I want out of a guy and out of a relationship. This course will get you into that level of alignment. Sherry did the course in September. On December 24th, I met a very special man. I knew immediately he was coming together. He even drove 2 hours to be with me at midnight on New Year's Eve. It's been years since I had a kiss at midnight. He feels like home. I was ready for him and recognized him for all that he is. I set an intention to be open for love, but for years it wasn't happening. Emerald guided me to truly open my heart, raise my vibration, and live that intention. And I promise you, Sherry had a bunch of fears, just like I'm sure you do. She was scared no man wanted to be with the real her. She was concerned she was too fill in the blank for love, whatever your concerns are. She didn't value herself and think she was pretty enough or smart enough or good enough or whatever enough for love, right? All these doubts and fears and insecurities that plague us and you on a daily basis. We all have them. But imagine if you could get rid of them forever and instead be the self-confident woman that knows what she wants and knows how to get it, because I've given you the process to get it. It's amazing. So she manifested an amazing partner anyways after enrolling in Attract the One, regardless of where she started, wrapped up in these doubts and fears and insecurities about her worth and her value. So what is in Attract the One? As I said, it's an 8-week online course. Everything's been pre-recorded. And we'll take you through this 8-week process of digging deeper into everything that we've covered today. So module on knowing what you want. So we talked a little bit about the Prince Charming list, but like I said, a lot of women, they struggle with this for a while. And so we go deeper into it and give you different ways to really unravel what you truly want. Understanding and listening to your heart's desires. So who you are, what you want, how to get it, start telling and believing the new story, right? Like we talked about that a little bit today, but there's a lot more to actually believing that new story in addition to just starting to tell a new story. So it's mindset, right? It's if you don't think you can get love, you won't. And then module 3, we kick the evil stepmother out of your head. That's the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, the I'm not good enough, he doesn't exist, he's not really out there, I'll never meet the one, there's no good men in my town. We're going to get those thoughts out of your mind for good so that module 4, you can call in your dream man. 100% of your list, not 80%, not 90%, but the actual attraction process of calling him to you. And then module 5 is love potions and magic spells. So I'm going to teach you everything I've learned about manifestation and law of attraction over the course of years so that you can learn how to call love or anything you desire into your life. And actually, if you've ever been to my website or my Facebook group, it's Manifest It All. ALL, abundance, love, and life of your dreams. And I started as just a love coach teaching about love and attraction and manifestation, but it evolved because women were having such great success in all these other areas of their life that I realized this process is duplicable for anything, but you're here for love, so we'll keep talking about love. Using your feminine power to attract your divine masculine partner, because I'm sure you still have so many questions about feminine energy. Most women do. Become number 1 in your life. Like you really, really, truly, if you want to attract in your match, have to increase the amount of love and confidence that you hold within you. You can't look for the man to complete you, or once I get the guy, then I'll feel good about myself. It's the other way around. It's almost like I don't even need you. I feel so good with who I am. When you get to that level of self-love and self-confidence, that's when you attract in your match. And so it's a process to get to that point. Because it's a process your entire life that you got to where you are today. And so that's why it is like this container, this 8-week container of self-love that I'm holding space for you. And then the last 2 modules, how to magnetize and attract men to you, no matter how small of a town you live in. I can't tell you how many women and clients are like, there's no good men in my town, it's tiny, or I live in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't matter. I lived in Ecuador, a town it took 2 days to get into, and I manifested my last partner, everything I wrote down on my Prince Charming list. Like I said, 5 years later, though, we were just at completely different points in our life. I had grown a lot in those years. I wanted something completely different. So did he. We just weren't in alignment. We consciously uncoupled. But I lived in this tiny, tiny little town that took 2 years to get, or 2 days to get to, and I still manifested the man that was everything on my list. And then the last module, like wrapping it up, manifest your man, avoid the self-sabotage, keep the momentum going, keep your vibration high, use the law of attraction, like just feel really good all of the time. Like what a huge freaking promise to offer you, but it's so true. It's so, so true. Okay, I just want to double check, make sure there's no questions. Okay, so that is everything that Attract the One is. Come on, Mr. Computer. A couple more women. Ebony. This experience has been worth every penny. I'm in awe of how many people have approached me just to have a conversation, and most important, how much I have been feeling myself. I'm beginning to see what a difference it makes when I love myself even harder and treat me the way I deserve to be treated. It's funny, my girlfriend said, wow, I see everyone is coming up to talk to you. My vibrations are aligned with the universe and I can feel the communication. Sabrina, I started dating a really nice quality man that meets a lot of things on my list. He's mentioned how feminine and strong I am, which he loves. I'm excited whenever I'm with him or talk to him. We're inhaling each moment and taking our time. I'm hopeful and ready to see where it goes. So what's included in Attract the One? Like I said, it's an online course. I've recorded everything for you. So there's 8 video modules. Each one's about a half hour, and bonus trainings I'll tell you about in a second. And then there's 8 fillable PDFs. You have to do the work. You can't just watch my talking head, kind of like our training today. So 8 workbooks for you to actually do the work to go deeper to attracting the one. You have a private Facebook group, which is pretty awesome. So you get to share with women who are enrolled in the course right now, women who have done it in the past. You can tag me and ask me your questions. The group will be open forever. So lifetime access to this group is kind of a big deal. And then lifetime access to the course and any bonus materials, edits I make in the future. I actually just recently redid module 1. I've added in new bonuses. I've reworked things. So as I continue to evolve this program, as I evolve, you'll still have access to that. So you got it forever. So bonuses that are included, I've got a guided meditation and hypnosis library. That's something that my clients and women have asked me always for, so I decided to make one for you. Manifesting Maven Masterclass. So when it feels like manifesting's not working for you, if you're getting yourself in a slump, if you're not feeling high vibe, and then the famous Flirt Like a Goddess training, how to get and stay in your feminine energy, which is what we're talking about today, right? The magnetize your man in order to flirt confidently with the guys you like. So all of this entire package together is truly, in my humble opinion, all you need to attract in the one, to magnetize your man. It's been over 10, 15 years in the learning and the making of Emerald Sinclair and her manifesting capabilities is all included here. Here it is. So Attract the One, the course is valued at $1,800. The bonuses are valued at $900. So the course itself, I could easily charge about $3,000 for it, but I don't. I just don't want to charge $3,000 for it, so I'm not. So instead, I actually have the course on my website for $397 or 4 payments of $111. But because you're here on the webinar, or if you watch the replay, I'm going to give you the webinar only price of $297. You're not going to see it anywhere else. I do promise you this. The link that I will send out to you, it will expire tomorrow night, Sunday night at midnight. True story, promise you that. So because you're here, because you're interested, you're watching live, you're watching the replay, you've stuck it with me this far, I'm going to give you an extra $100 off. It'll be $297 for this entire program and all of the bonuses. The course was designed so you can learn the proven steps to take to manifest a high quality partner that's everything you desire in a soulmate in as little as 2 months. So a couple other things to keep in mind that this course includes is increasing the self-esteem and self-confidence. So actually believing you can have what you want, giving you the confidence that you can have it all so that you actually get it. Meeting and dating higher quality men. So for the women that are just meeting the men that bore you, or they just want one thing, or they're not spiritual, they're not in alignment with their belief systems and goals, you don't want to date those men anymore. You want to date the men that have the dreams, the goals, that understand personal development and connecting in with their intuition. This course will get you into that alignment so you attract those men to you. Improving your mindset. It was Henry Ford that said, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. And so you'll learn how to reprogram your mind and your limiting beliefs so you can actually have what you want in a partner. And then shortening your timeline. In less than 3 months, you have a line of available guys lined up outside your door begging to ask you out, but you only want one, right? You'll actually have your pick of the crop. And I was working, one of my private clients, she did so amazing, Marija, like by the end of our time together, she was like dating 5 or 6 amazing men. And it was like challenging for her to narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down. And so not that I'm saying you want to have all these men that you can't, like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. There's all these amazing men like at my doorstep, but this could totally happen. Like imagine having to pick between 5 different amazing men instead of 5 men that are just like meh. So once again, this is only for webinar people. It's $297, one payment, that's it. If you find yourself on the page on Monday, the price will be back up at its normal price. And I've actually had people ask me like, well, why so cheap? Some women might think this is expensive and some women are like, how could this truly give me everything I need and only be $300? Here's why. When I was younger, this is exactly what I needed, but I didn't have the money, or I didn't know I needed to invest in myself for lasting change. And so I've honestly sold this course at $1,000 and it's sold. I've sold this course at $600 and it's sold. I've sold it at $400 and it's sold. But I want you to have it. I really do. I want you to have it. I want you to do the modules. I know that when you do the work, you will shift. You will become the woman who knows she's good enough for everything she desires. You will become the woman that actually gets it. And that's what I want for you. I truly do. And I also know that this is just your next step. I know you'll enroll in this course and you'll learn so much and you'll start attracting in really good men and you'll feel really confident. But then I know like you won't stop. I know you'll want to do more programs with me. I know you'll want to keep doing the work. I know you'll want to continue to rise up into your true potential, which is a win-win for us both. And so it's why I decided to lower the price even more just for the webinar, because it's like, please, 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 this is the next step for you. So that is the webinar only link, the Attract in the One, $100 off, $297. I'm going to send it out in an email when we're done, but feel free to write that down. Do we have any questions? That's all I got for you today. Lady friends, beautiful goddesses, we're just coming up on time. We went 4 minutes over. I apologize for that, but I love this stuff. I love you. It's my hope and desire that this will get you into that level of alignment where you truly learn that your vibration, your energy makes a difference. Your beautiful feminine magnetism is what gets the guys to you. It has nothing to do with you doing and efforting and going out on a million dates. So, all right, my loves, I don't see any other questions. We are coming up on time. I'll send you out an email with the replay. Of course, you're welcome to reply to the email if you have any questions. I'll see you in the Facebook group. I'll see you via email. I'm so excited to offer Attract the One to you. Those of you that resonate with it, I know this is going to absolutely be the perfect fit and the beautiful, beautiful next step for you. Oh, how long can we see the replay? Till tomorrow night. Well, the replay isn't going anywhere. The special price is only going to be till tomorrow night at midnight. But the replay will be up. That's a very good question. The replay is going to go on the page, but the page will expire tomorrow at midnight. So tomorrow at midnight, but feel free, Ileana. you can send me a personal email as well and we can figure it out, because ladies, I'm also going to put it on YouTube. And so if you do miss out on the replay or you need to watch it again, I can get it to you. Don't worry. Good question. Okay. So with that, I'm sweating my little face off. I need to go jump in the pool. I'm sending you all so much love. The webinar only special is good till tomorrow night at Sunday. If you didn't get a chance to catch the replay before then, let me know. We'll work something out for you. No problem. All right. I'm sending you all so much love.